The power of positive thinking. You need to know that thoughts become things. So think positive thoughts, okay? I used to think that all this positive thinking is BS, but I'll tell you this. Your life doesn't get better with negative thinking. Okay? With negative thinking, you're going to feel worse and you're not going to have the same positive outcomes that you wish. And the right positive mental attitude is going to change everything. So always expect the best and always think about the best. Now, when you think about goals and dreams and you have wishes, usually dwelling on them every single day is part of accomplishing them, because we can attract things, money into our lives if we have that wish, if we manifest that through our thoughts into the physical world. Now, instead of asking yourself questions like, oh, why does this always happen to me? Then your subconscious mind will give you answers like, well, because you're a loser, because you're an idiot, because you always have bad luck. But if you ask the right questions, and here is the funny part. Let's say you say, why am I so lucky? Or why am I so successful with everything that I touch? And if you ask yourself these kind of questions, then your subconscious mind will try to find the answers to those questions. And you know what? They will attract the right things into your life. So think positive thoughts, because your thoughts will manifest into this life and you will attract good or bad depending on your thoughts. Sometimes life is difficult and sometimes things are falling apart. When things fall apart, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes things need to fall apart to fall into place. Maybe you've gotten to a point where things are so messed up that the only way to correct your life again is to break apart the way that you've gone so far. And happiness is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to deal with them. But the problem is that if we start to think negatively, then we're going to be unhappy. And there's 10 ways how you're definitely going to feel unhappy. First is if you complain. Complaining makes unhappy. If you try to avoid your problems, okay, avoiding is never the answer, okay? It gets worse and worse. If you compare yourself with others, okay, because there's always someone who will do better than you, and it's not going to make you feel empowered. If you worry about things that haven't happened yet, or worry in general, okay? If you let your problems overwhelm you, and that is, let's say if you have too many problems and you don't know where to start, and then you don't do anything, you're overwhelmed, okay? So don't let that happen. Next thing is, if you do things that you don't love, that are not in line with who you are and what you're supposed to do, if there's something that you constantly must do, if you're unhappy in your job, for example, then you must change it, even if it's temporarily to your disadvantage, or you're unhappy, or you're going to lose money. But you're not going to be happy unless you're going to make that step, okay? And it's necessary. If you stay in a relationship that is not good for you, that is no longer serving you, okay? Sometimes we stay in a relationship with a certain person for a certain period of time because during that time it was the right person, it was right for us. But maybe today, two people have gone in completely different directions and it's no longer good for you. You're hurting each other, for example, okay? So sometimes it's best to move on because you've developed into a different direction, okay? And that's not a bad thing, okay? It's just the way life is sometimes. Then trying to change others, okay? You can't change somebody else, okay? You can only change yourself. And if you constantly have those expectations of how somebody else is supposed to be, then you're going to be really unhappy. And trying to please everybody is also not possible. You can't make everybody happy, and you don't have to. Okay, make sure that you take care of your family. Make sure that you take care of the most important people in your life. But you can't make everybody else happy and be unhappy at the same time. So make sure that you take care first of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, no one else is going to take care of you. If you don't make you happy, who's going to make you happy? Okay, so of course you need to give, you need to be there for other people, but you come first. And finally, if you attach yourself to goals, to outcomes, to status, to things, to people, then you're going to be dependent on them. Your happiness is going to be dependent on them. Okay, so letting go of those things, okay, or not making your happiness dependent on other people or circumstances or things will make you happy. So those are 10 ways to achieve unhappiness, okay? And we're all guilty, okay? I'm guilty of a few of them, of course. But in general, just try to think positive thoughts. Life is not happening to you. Life is responding to you. It's responding to your energy, okay? It's responding to your positive or negative thoughts. Sometimes, we create a bad situation based on our negative thinking, based on our thoughts. Whatever we expect or the intentions that we have is getting manifested and will become our reality. So what does that mean? Well, think positive, expect the best, smile, be happy, and have good positive thoughts, okay? If you are happy and joyous and grateful, you know what? Those things will come into your life. But if you're frantic and nervous, your life will be frantic, okay? So however you are on the inside is a reflection of the life of the outside that you have. So whenever you feel unhappy, uneasy, nervous, worrisome, or whatever it is, ask yourself, okay, well, is this going to help me? No, it's not. So change your thinking and it will change your outer life. When negative thoughts come, and they come to all of us, it's not enough just to dwell on them. You need to replace them with a positive thought. Because a negative mind will never give you a positive life. So don't allow negative thoughts to steal your joy. Because if you lose your joy, you lose your strength, you lose your power. And language is very important. The way you use language is key, because language has the ability to create positive things in your life, because language matters, okay? Positive language can create positive changes. Negative language can destroy, it can hurt people, it can start wars, okay? So choose your language carefully. You have to realize the only person who's really holding you back from the life that you want is yourself, is the thoughts that you have in your mind. And since everything is a reflection in our minds, everything can be changed by changing our mindset, okay? So that's important. Now, in order to live a happier life, there are a few things that you should give up. Number one, you should give up doubting yourself, negative thinking, the fear of failure, staying in destructive relationships, gossiping, criticizing yourself and criticizing others, anger, comfort eating, laziness, negative self-talk, procrastination, fear of success, anything that's excessive, trying to please everyone else, and putting other needs before your own. Watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. And your actions become your habits, and your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. So everything starts with a thought. Your life, if it's good or bad, starts with your thinking. So whatever you have in your mind is a reflection of your outer life, okay? And it starts with your thoughts. So be aware of that and start to think more positively. A lot of people have envy and jealousy inside of them. They don't like when someone else is doing better than them. They don't like that someone else has more money. Have you ever met someone who is half as talented as you but makes twice the amount of money? Or have you ever met someone who is twice as beautiful as you and is more successful and is really happy, okay? So have you ever had those situations with those people? Of course, and we all have. And the problem is that a lot of us, they get jealous and they get envious. But in reality, jealousy is low self-confidence. So what should you do? Obviously, you need to let go of those thoughts because they're very destructive. Second of all, you need to try to replace envy or jealousy with admiration. Ask yourself, what is this person doing better than I am today, and what could I learn from him? And be happy for other people if they're doing well. Be happy and tell them and show them and mean it, and I'll tell you, your life will get better too. But if you're constantly envious and jealous, you will attract negative things into your life, and it's going to hurt your soul. You're hurting yourself. So think positive, replace envy with admiration, and be happy for other people if they're doing well. There's three things that can't be hidden for very long. And that statement doesn't come from me, it comes from Buddha. It's the sun, the moon, and the truth. So, live in truth with the people in your life. And that is so important. Live in the truth with people around you, and you will have peace of mind. And peace of mind should be your number one goal, because you can't be nervous and you can't be lying and cheating and hoping somebody's not going to find out, because sooner or later the truth will always come out. There's always a consequence. So sometimes it's better to tell the truth, to have a temporary disadvantage, okay, and to maybe suffer short-term consequences, but in the long run, you're going to be happier and more fulfilled. Making mistakes is part of life. Somebody's strong today because at some point in their life they have been weak. Somebody has no fear today because at some point in their life they've been afraid. And somebody is wise today because at some point in their life they've been foolish, okay? So making mistakes is normal. Everybody makes mistakes, and we cannot learn if we don't ever make mistakes. And the only way how to figure out how life works is to make mistakes. The only way to make progress is to make mistakes. And don't beat yourself up, okay? It doesn't help anyone. If you made a mistake, admit it. Have the courage to admit it to yourself and to others, because that's where true strength and character lies. When we make mistakes, we often tend to rationalize. And what does rationalize means? It means rational lies, okay? So we try to tell ourselves, oh, it's not so bad, or others are doing worse, but in reality, you're just lying to yourself. And maturity comes to you if you stop making excuses and if you start making positive changes. So whenever something bad happens to you, you have three choices. You can either let it define you, you can let it destroy you, or you can let it strengthen you. It's your choice. Your number one enemy is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, or other fears like fears of success. And you have to understand that once you can overcome fear, once you can fight those negative thoughts, okay, that's when you can truly excel. And that's what life is all about. It is to be courageous, okay? So fear is your biggest enemy. You are your own worst enemy. And fear is a negative emotion that is holding you back, that is paralyzing you, is holding you back from a life that you deserve, okay? So decide not to be afraid anymore, okay? And it takes courage, because in the end, nothing can really happen to you. You know, you're a spiritual being. You're made out of energy. You have a temporary physical experience, okay? But if you allow fear to dominate your life, then you will never truly be happy, okay? And fear is one of the biggest illusions that will prevent you from reaching greatness. Fear, Anthony Robbins said once, is fear is false evidence appearing real. Having the right mental attitude, having a positive mental attitude can change everything. No one can stop a man with the right attitude, but no one can help a man with the wrong attitude. Whenever you think you can do something, you can't do something, you will always be right. You will only believe what you think is possible, and you will only do what you think you can do. So whenever you have a new goal, you need to start to think positively about this goal, or because a goal is always connected with problems. So you need to solve problems, and the more problems you can solve, the further ahead you will get. Sometimes we are in life in a certain position and we're not happy where we are, but we don't do anything about it, okay? Because we're kind of stuck in our rut, okay? So if you don't like where you are, then you must change it. You are not a tree. You can move. So change your life, and it always starts in your head. Sometimes you just need to do it, okay? You need to follow your heart and go out there and conquer the world. I wish you all the best.